California Environmental Dialogue recommended dedicating resources to mitigate impact on small business and jobs from this program change. ARB and BAR have not acted on either recommendation, and to date we have not seen a mitigation plan or an economic impact analysis. SACIA recommended amendments to the committee that have not been picked up that will not add cost to the bill or modify the intent of the program change. It provides for a defined phase-in transition, the removal of obsolete prohibitions in market on the test-only industry so they continue to transition in the process, and free market strategies to mitigate business and job loss. Without the inclusion of these amendments, 2289 upon passage will end the test-only industry in California.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Chris Walker on behalf of the California Automotive Business Coalition. CalABC has been involved and has had their members participate in the Smog Check program for more than 25 years now. And for every iteration of the program, there was the BAR 84 program, there's the BAR 90 program, there's the BAR 97 program, and now we have the BAR 2012. Every iteration causes private businesses, small businesses, to have to invest significant capital. Each change is tens of thousands of dollars. And we're in a oppose unless amended position. We appreciate the author and the sponsor of the Bureau of Automotive Repair working with the small business community. The amendments go a long way in addressing some principal concerns, but don't address them all. We still are concerned about the tailpipe testing having to maybe come back again in the future. And if we divest from that infrastructure now, are we going to be asked to invest in it all over again in the future? Whenever we do a sweeping change in the industry, there's always unforeseen consequences, and we think that this ought to be thought through at a higher level with respect to what could happen in the future with the infrastructure needs once we dismantle the dynamometers, dismantle tailpipe testing infrastructure. We support a rolling exemption. Let out the newer cars, let them be OBD tested only for the first 10 years, but bring them back in as the cars age and deteriorate to make sure that the tailpipe emissions are in a satisfactory manner. We also support the community college component to help train the next workforce for the Smog Check program, but we also recognize that they're financially strained right now, and we need to make sure that there's some resources that can be dedicated to the community colleges to ensure that they have the equipment, the upgrades, and even the salary positions for the instructors to help instruct. The other element is to the extent that we have to invest in another upgrade of equipment, which we do, the costs are still somewhat undetermined. We've heard some wide ranges of costs, everything from a couple $1,000s to much, much more, a whole order of magnitude more. We don't know where that's going to end up. And to the extent that it's a lot, we would like to see some consideration for small business assistance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in opposition, state your name and affiliation. We've already had 2 witnesses. State your name and affiliation.
Yeah, Jack Mullendonov on behalf of the Automotive Service Councils of California, and we are in opposed unless amended position, but I'd like to say we have been working with the Assemblyman on amendments, and we'd like to continue to work with them as the bill moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, Madam Chairwoman. I'm Charlie Peters, Clean Air Performance Professionals. We represent motorists in California. We think you need a quality audit to demand appropriate behavior in the marketplace, and unless amended on this bill, please.
Thank you. Other opposition? Please state your name and affiliation. Oh, you're coming back. Okay. You were there before. My eyes are glazing over. Okay. Sorry. Any comments from members? Mr. Solorio.
Yeah, just a couple of related questions. This apparently is equipment that's being used in other states. Apparently, how much would it cost per piece of equipment?
I can do that. Do you want to answer that? Can I ask? I'm going to ask one of my Mr. Tom.
My name is Tom Coquette from the California Air Resources Board. There are about 22 other states, and we are the only state that doesn't use the onboard diagnostic system that comes on every new car since 1996. And the equipment to read the computer results from that is about $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at the most. It's a handheld scan type tool. That's all it costs.
And based on that, we think on experiences in other states that consumers would get charged less.
Yes, definitely. Our inspection is $48, something like that on average. I think the highest one is in the mid 20s.
And do we set that price, or do the do the stations set the price?
Most of them, it's the marketplace.
Because my worry is sometimes when we just look at the raw data like that, a lot of things tend to cost much more in California than in other states. So I would hope that we're in the 20s, but that's something that's established by the private market, not the...
It's by the market, and certainly you're right that it usually costs more in California, but I think it's hard to believe that we can justify California's higher cost of doing business to make up the difference between mid-20s and $48. So it's got to come down with competition. And the customers, when you add that up across the 20 million people that have cars that have to go through smog inspection, that adds up to be savings of $100 million or more per year for the consumer.
I do like the direction of this bill. I do think we need to continue to innovate in this area. I would ask the author to continue to work with those other individuals that had concerns. It sounds like some of them were reasonable concerns and maybe wouldn't add significant cost to the bill. So if you could continue to work with
absolutely. You have my
I
assurance.
appreciate that.
For
And
that.
if we can keep track of what these things cost, one of the things that I don't think we do a good enough job of in policy committee and even appropriations is figuring out what the economic impacts are. It's easy to make assumptions, and sometimes there's not agreement on what those assumptions are, or that if we miss those assumptions, sometimes we're too far gone to change course.
Yes, absolutely. I believe along that line, I do think that's a very, very good point. Are we moving in the direction of trying to mitigate some of the costs to these the businesses, the testers? Have we done that in the past as a demonstration of good faith that's pretty much what BAR's mission is?
Yes, and with the new machines and
Thank you
equipment
for that question.
that
Excellent.
we are in the process of certifying and getting bids for, it's important to note that the state will own the software. This is a cost that now is borne by the stations. Every time there's a change in the legislature, they have to update their systems, and they currently have to pay for that software change, which is very expensive. The state will now be able to do that for them for basically free. So there are a lot of cost savings, even though there is an initial expenditure for the new machines. In the long run, the maintenance of those machines should result in not a negative impact to the businesses. We also have to promulgate regulations which have to take into account the small business impact. So we will be doing that.
Mr. Eng, would you like to close?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair and members. Yes, absolutely. We will make, as we have, every effort to work. This has been an extraordinary experience for me, and we have, I've told my staff, and our door's been open, and we've worked, I think, to a very, very good point right now. We've already taken 3 of the amendments. Number 2, I think what it all boils down to is that this will save costs. I think also ultimately it will save lives too. As you know, the week that this bill was announced, USC and UC Berkeley announced the results of a study which shows that if you live within 289 feet of a freeway, you have twice the chances that you're going to have thickening of the arteries. And we could read that report, but I think it puts it into context. 800,000 cars off the road. Respectfully request an aye vote.
Thank you very much. Mr. Eng, this bill would substantially change the smog check program as we know it today. If a car owner has a vehicle which is model year 2000 or newer, then it will be smog tested quicker and possibly cheaper using new computer equipment built into the car. The committee and author's office have worked with the sponsors and industry to craft amendments that go a long way in mollifying smog check station concerns. But there are still concerns lingering with the industry, and I'm aware of that. I think all of us are aware of that. And I believe that the author and sponsors are willing to consider them and continue to work together. Everyone agrees change is needed, and this bill gets us a clearer direction for cleaning up our air quality for the reasons that you mentioned, Mr. Eng. Everyone will be able to breathe more easily because of that. So I am recommending a do pass with amendments. Could you please call the roll? We need a motion.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. Lowenthal?
Aye.
Lowenthal, aye. Jeffries? Bill Berryhill?
No, with just one point of reference here is that this is the problem with regulatory agencies that are unelected and unchecked. And I just think that they going back and forth on regulation creates such an uncertainty in the marketplace. It's very tough to do business in California. So for that reason, I'm voting no. I do appreciate the author working and continuing to work, and I reserve the right to later change my vote. Thank you.
Berryhill, no. Blumenfield? Blumenfield, aye. Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ing?
Aye.
Ing, aye. Furutani? Furutani, aye. Galgiani? Hayashi? Miller? Nilo? Norby? Portantino? Solorio? Solorio, aye. 6-1, the bill's on call.
6-1, your bill's on call, Mr. Ng.
Okay.
You have
Thank you, Madam
another-
Chair.
And you have one more bill to present, item 17, AB 2620.
Yes, Madam Chair and members, AB 2620 will ensure that a portion of toll revenues generated by converting an HOV lane, a high occupancy vehicle, to a high occupancy toll lane, HOT, dedicated to the Department of Transportation State Highway Operation and Protection Program, the SHOP. That's what this bill intends to do, to dedicate a portion of the revenues to the SHOP. AB 2620 is based on a very simple and common premise that state and primary highway maintenance programs should benefit because hot lanes add value and toll fees are collected. Currently, the sole source of funding for the SHOP is the state highway account, funded primarily through excise taxes on gasoline and diesel fuel. However, the state highway account revenue is in steep decline, continues to strain the state's ability to meet rehabilitation and preservation needs on the state highway system. You've seen it going down state highways, which the roads are uneven, causing major damage perhaps to vehicles, even collisions. We need these funds to preserve bridges and enhance our mobility. Today, current funding is less than 25% of current need. I have my sponsor, Mr. Ted Toppin, on behalf of the Professional Engineers of California Government, here to testify in support of this measure.
Madam Chair, members, Ted Toppin for the Professional Engineers in California Government. I want to thank Mr. Ng for introducing this bill because it does pose a very interesting question. When you take a state asset, an HOV lane, and convert it to a hot lane, monetize it, generate revenue off of it, how should that revenue be used? It is my contention and Peg's contention that some of it should be used to preserve and maintain and make safe the very system that makes the hot lane possible. That's the state highway system. State highway HOVs are built in state right-of-way. They are a state asset. They have been paid for with state money. The state is liable for them. The state is liable to maintain them. Given that, certainly some of the revenue generated off of the state highway system with the hot lane should be used and reinvested to keep that system sound, safe, and retain its integrity for the long haul. If we don't invest in the state highway system, as he talked about, there is no state highway account money allotted for this. I think the 10-year SHOP plan issued by Caltrans earlier this year said there is a $65 billion need over the next 10 years and $15 billion of available revenue. That is not going to preserve the system. This bill poses that some of the revenue generated by monetizing the state highway system go to maintain it, and I think that's a pretty simple concept. Thank you.
Any other witnesses in support? In opposition, please come forward.
Chairman, members, first I just regret we were not able to get a letter in opposition, so I won't characterize myself as opposed, but on behalf of the Riverside County Transportation Commission, We have some concerns we'd like to relate to the committee with respect to this bill. First, we all recognize the shop is woefully underfunded. That's why a lot of us work so hard with you all during the gas tax swap to make sure that that extra nickel was available. That doesn't go far enough. We understand what's driving the sponsors and appreciate that. However, tolls in the systems like we're developing on the 91 in Orange County, in Riverside County, first call is for debt service, second call is for operation, third call is for maintenance of that facility. To the extent we burden it with an additional cost that we hadn't anticipated as we're developing this project, it either makes it possibly unfinanceable or possibly adds to the cost, which means there'll be higher toll rates, and those are folks who are already paying gas taxes that help fund the shop. So, you know, we're compelling an additional cost on the motorist for something they're already participating in, and they're using the hot lane as a means to get to work back and forth. And I think in the interest of time, I'll stop at that point. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Gus Core on behalf of the Solano Transportation Authority. I echo the comments made by Mr. Watts. Also want to validate the comments made by Mr. Toppin. I think everybody knows, anybody in the transportation sector knows that the shop is woefully underfunded. We think this is, though, putting the cart before the horse. Solano County is not a self-help county, and so we have to come up with creative solutions in order to maintain traffic congestion measures within our corridor. There is a cooperative agreement which Caltrans is a part of, along with the CHP, in deciding what projects receive what funding. Have total confidence in working with Assemblymember Ng, though we've had a long history in working together, and so we'll continue to have conversations and hopefully produce a product that is more tolerable. So thank you very much.
Can you write a response for me?
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, Mr. Miller and then Ms. Galgiani.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Ng, I got to go reference back to the 91 project that Mr. Watts pointed out that RCTC is doing for a couple reasons. Number one, that project was authorized by a bill, I believe in '06. I don't have the details in my head right now, by Senator Correa, that required excess toll revenues to be reinvested back into that corridor. And so I don't have any, I'm complete agreement with the shop being underfunded. I'm in complete agreement that the money needs to be, there needs to be money reinvested back in for maintenance of the highway system. But I think there are certain circumstances up and down the state where conversions are potentially going to happen that this may create problems for. It may create problems in that the financing to convert the lanes is going to be predicated on a certain amount to pay back. It's going to require certain guarantee. But when we have language that says unspecified percentage, I think that creates a problem. I know that creates a huge problem for me. I would want to work this out with you and PEG and try and find some sort of compromise that at least doesn't put the 91 project in jeopardy and any other projects in jeopardy.
Okay.
We've all worked way too hard to get us, and we're real close to getting something done. This is.
Thank you. I've been on the 91. It's a fantastic venture.
It's going to be better. It's going to be way better. And so
move the bill, Chair.
But the bill doesn't apply, I think, to 91. Yeah.
The bill does not apply to 91 or any other authorized hotline in current law. This is going forward. We are not seeking to unring any bells here.
And what authorized in what form? Technically, the 91 is not.
I think that it could be clarified in the bill, and we're happy to do so. I think the place to start is by naming the specific sections in the Street and Highway Code, starting at Section 149. That's where the authorization for most of these are.
Maybe
Mr. Watt, did you want to say something?
If I might, yeah, the way the bill is drafted now, it talks about any authorized hotline that has a cooperative agreement perfected after January 1st, 2011, we're not finished with our cooperative agreement because we're still trying to perfect our design-build authority that will let us then define the financing capacity of the corridor, which will then let us sit down with Caltrans and figure out the cooperative agreement. So we are swept into this bill. I'm not arguing to be in or out. I was trying to make points about the efficacy of earmarking a net toll, but I wanted to clarify that point, that we are, I believe, swept in by the way the bill's drafted.
Again, happy to take amendments that make it perfectly clear that it applies going forward and not to stuff currently authorized, including the 91.
And I would imagine that's the intent of the author.
Yeah, that was our intent, and we're continuing to work with anyone that feels that they are unjustly included in the bill, and we'd be happy to clarify that. And I think we can do that by language in the code section, so that going forward it would only apply.
That'd be great. That would be good.
Any other? That's good, Mr. Miller. Any other questions? Mr. Solorio.
Yes, I did want to compliment the author and the sponsor for thinking of this creative financing opportunity, because I think it is one. And we all know that a lot of the revenues are going down that help fund our transportation system, and we do need to find sources to keep it up, because we do have a vast network of streets and roads and freeways, and we do need to look at every option, including this, to continue to maintain those freeways. I do think that with some tweaks to the language, we should be able to have something that's workable. I do want to support it today, and I would not rule out going back and looking at the 91 express lanes. I think that a lot of the agreements, speak to excess revenues that could go towards a corridor. There'd be ways, I'm sure, to say that some tiny fraction could go towards helping with the freeway system. I mean, we have tolls up and down the state that are probably anywhere between $4 to $12 per trip. If it was 15 cents, 25 cents per transaction or something, I don't think that's unreasonable. We gotta pay for freeways in Orange County and Riverside. We love our asphalt, but we need to maintain it. And all these other revenue sources are going down, and we need to be proactive. And so I do appreciate, again, the author and the sponsor for bringing this bill forward, and do encourage ongoing dialogue on a good solution to this strategy.
Thank you. And spoken as a true transportation expert and advocate, I know your years of service in OCTA really bespeak your ability to analyze and come to the conclusions that I think I do on this bill. Thank you for your comments.
Okay.
Respectfully request an aye vote.
Thank you. I am. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. It's late. The hour is late. Sorry about that. Please.
Mr. Ng, is it your intention then that there would be a nexus so that wherever the tolls are collected, that the funds would be used to make improvements in those sections?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
With that, we have a motion. We already had a motion. I'm going to support this. Again, it's a work in progress. It sounds like you're talking to each other in terms of specific language. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll?
The motions do pass as amended to appropriations. Lowenthal?
Aye.
Lowenthal, aye. Jeffries? Bill Berryhill?
Aye.
Berryhill, aye. Blumenfield? Blumenfield, aye. Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ng?
Aye.
Ng, aye. Furutani? Furutani, aye. Galgiani? Aye. Galgiani, aye. Hayashi? Miller?
Abstain.
Nilo?
Aye.
Nilo, aye. Norby? Portantino? Solorio? Solorio, aye. 9-0, the bill's out.
9-0, the bill's out. Mr. Ng?
Thank you.
And members, now I'm going to lift the call. We're going to go through everything in order. We're going to try and go through them once for everybody's benefit. So we need members here. Okay. So you want to start? Oh, I start. Okay. Do I just say 18?
Just say item 18, AB 2637, Chesbro.
Okay, item 18, AB 2637, Chesbro.
Pass to appropriation, the chair is aye. Blumenfield? Aye. Blumenfield, aye. Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ing? Ing, aye. Furtani? Aye. Furtani, aye. Hayashi? Aye. Hayashi, aye. Miller? Aye. Miller, aye. Norby? And it's 13-0.
13-0, that bill is out. Item 22, AB 2729, Amiano.
This too passes amended to appropriations. Lowenthal, the chair's aye. Berryhill? Buchanan? Aye. Buchanan, aye. Ing? Aye. Ing, aye. Furtani? 2729? Yes. Aye. With amendment? Yes. Furtani, aye. Hayashi? Miller? Aye. Miller, aye. Norby? Portantino? 8-2. Berryhill, aye. 9-2. Bill's out.
9.
Paying attention.
Hayashi, aye. 10-2. The bill's out.
10-2, your bill is out, Mr. Amiano. Number 8, AB 2121, Galgiani.
Denise, announce Mr. Jeffrey.
Okay. AB 2121, Harkey. Aye. Chair's aye. It's due pass. Is amended to appropriations. Chair's aye. Vice chair's aye. Buchanan.
Harkey.
Buchanan. Buchanan, aye. Ing. Ing, aye. Furtani. Furtani, aye. Hayashi. Hayashi, aye. Nilo.
Aye.
Nilo, aye. Portantino. Solorio. Solorio, aye. 13-0.
13-0, the bill is out. Number 9, AB 2245, Mr. Hill.
The actions do pass as amended to appropriations. The chair's aye. The vice chair is no. Buchanan. Buchanan, aye. Ing. Aye. Ing, aye. Furtani. Furtani, aye. Hayashi. Hayashi, aye. Miller. Miller, no. Nilo.
This is 2245?
Yes.
No.
Nilo, no. Norby. Portantino. Solorio. Solorio, aye. 8-4. The bill's out.
8-4, that bill is out. Item 20, AB 2667, Mr. Hill.
Actions do pass to appropriation. The chair's aye. And the vice chair. The vice chair is no.
2667.
Ing.
That was the seatbelt one.
The chair's aye.
Aye.
Ing, aye. Furtani. Furtani, aye. Hayashi. Hayashi, aye. Nilo.
No.
Nilo, no. Norby. Portantino. Solorio. Solorio, aye. 10-2, the bill's out.
Bill is out. That's 10-2. Item 11, AB 2294, Mr. Block.
The actions do pass as amended. And the chair is aye. The vice chair is no. Blumenfield. Blumenfield, aye. Buchanan. Buchanan, aye. Ing. Ing, aye. Galgiani.
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Hayashi. Nilo.
And this is 2294?
Correct.
Yes.
Aye.
Nilo, aye. Norby? Portantino? Solorio? Solorio, aye. 10-1, the bill's out.
10-1, the bill is out. Item 13, AB 2464, Huffman.
The actions do pass. The chair's aye, the vice chair's aye. Blumenfield? Blumenfield, aye. Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ing? Ing, aye. Furtani? Furtani, aye. Hayashi? Hayashi, aye. Nilo? Nilo, aye. Portantino? Solorio? Solorio, aye. 12-1, the bill's out.
12-1, the Huffman bill is out. Item 21, AB 2704, Gaines.
So do pass. Chair, aye. Vice Chair, aye. Blumenfield? Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ing? Chair's aye. Ing, aye. Furtani? Furtani, aye. Hayashi? Hayashi, aye. Nilo? Nilo, aye. Norby? Portantino? Solorio? Solorio, aye. 11-0.
11-0, the Gaines bill is out. Item 1, AB 1648, Jeffries.
The actions do pass to appropriations. The chair's aye and the vice chair's aye. Bill Berryhill? Berryhill, aye. Blumenfield? Blumenfield, aye. Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ing? Ing, aye. Furtani? Furtani, aye. Galgiani?
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Hayashi? Hayashi, aye. Nilo? Nilo, aye. Portantino? Solorio? Solorio, aye. It's 13-0. The bill's out.
13-0, that bill is out. Number 24, ACR 132, Nielsen.
Be adopted as amended to the Assembly floor. Chair's aye. The vice chair's aye. Blumenfield? Blumenfield, aye. Buchanan?
Item 24. ACR 132.
Buchanan, aye. Ing? Ing, aye. Furtani? Furtani, aye. Galgiani? Galgiani, aye. Hayashi? Hayashi, aye. Nilo?
Aye.
Nilo, aye. Norby? Portantino? 12-0. The bill's out.
12-0, the Nielsen bill is out. Item 6, AB 2098, Miller.
This is a vote on the urgency only. It's chair's aye, the vice chair's aye. Blumenfield? Blumenfield, aye. Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ing? Ing, aye. Furtani? Furtani, aye. Galgiani?
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Hayashi? Miller? Oh, Miller, aye. Nilo? Nilo, aye. Norby? Portantino?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, it's already gone.
Sorry about that. You already were
What
an
is
aye.
that? Then
11-0, the bill's out.
11-0, that bill is out. Item 16, Bill Berryhill, AB 2597.
Is due pass to appropriations. The chair is aye. What's the vice chair? 25 minutes.
Yes.
Vice chair's aye. Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ing? Ing, aye. Furtani? Furtani, aye. Galgiani?
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Hayashi? Miller? Hilo?
No.
Hilo, no. Norby? Solorio. Solorio, aye. 10-0, the bill's out.
Bill is out, 10-0. AB 23,
2750.
file number 23, AB 2756, Blumenfield.
The motions do pass. The chair is aye. The vice chair is no. Bill Berryhill. Buchanan. Buchanan, aye. Ing. Ing, aye. Furtani. Furtani, aye. Hayashi. Hayashi, aye. Miller. Miller, no.
Can you go back to that vote? I thought Newland voted no.
Nilo?
No.
Nilo, no. Norby? 9-4, the bill's out.
9-4, the bill is out.
Madam Chair, sorry for the interruption. Back
Yes,
on AB 2597, I'm not voting on that one. I apologize for the mixed message there. Thank you.
Solorio not voting. Item 16, 2597. Jeffries?
Did that change it? Did that change it at all?
Or no on that?
Nilo is no.
Item 16?
Item 16.
He is no.
Okay, you said 10-0.
Is it 1, 2, 3, 4?
That's the only.
No, it's 9-0 now.
No, he voted no.
You know, no.
But it was 10-0 before.
Oh, 9-1. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Sorry.
We're all tired. Okay. Item 14, AB 2471, Perez.
Do you pass to appropriations? The chair is aye. The vice chair is aye. Blumenfield? Buchanan? Buchanan, aye. Ing? Ing, aye. Furtani? Furtani, aye. Hayashi? Hayashi, aye. Nilo? Norby?
I could see that. It's so nice.
Call my name, I'm sorry.
Yes, I did. Nilo?
2471I.
Nilo, aye.
Who are we doing? Perez?
13-0, the bill's out.
William Perez?
13-0, Blumenfield, aye.
13-0.
Yes.
13-0. That bill is out. And the last one, item 10, AB 2289, Eng.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. The chair is aye. Jeffries?
I'm a no on that one.
Jeffries, no. Vice chair is no. Gaggiani? Aye. Gaggiani, aye. Hayashi? Hayashi, aye. Miller? Miller?
At 6 o'clock.
Miller, no. Nilo?
Good staff.
I'm sorry, which
Do
is
it
that?
without
It's
all that.
2289, Ing.
I voted.
Make sure we have everything. So we're
No.
You were not voting.
Oh, I was laying off, yes. I continue to lay off.
Okay. Norby? Portantino?
I saw Mike Turner the other day. And, you know.
It's 8-3, the bill's out.
8-3, that bill is out, Mr. Eng, and that is the last of it. And, oh, we're not done yet?
Yeah, we
I
probably
was
need
fine.
to do, there's some that
I
didn't
was-
add on the first ones.
Leaving it open for 5 minutes to add on. I thought I was